Good morning, everybody. This is the session on citizen circles, and we will be on this call until 11:45. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and we will do our absolute best to get to all the questions. I will let everybody know when we have 5 minutes left in the session, and I will let our presenters introduce themselves, beginning with Brian.
Hey, Joe, I just thought of something. If you get a question that's relevant to the conversation, just go ahead and ask it, okay?
Okay, no
All
problem.
righty. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. As Joe said, my name is Brian Byorth. I am with the Office of Reentry, the Ohio Department of Rehab and Corrections. I work with John Grzincic, who's also one of the presenters. John is a reentry coordinator out of our office. He covers the Akron region area, and then Lisa Dolan is a long time community partner who runs the Citizen Circle in Summit County. So good morning to everybody. Joe and John were talking about dishes of food that they like, and I'm thinking I got food in my mind right now, which is a bad thing. So
Sorry, Brian.
So thank you for allowing us to come to you today. I went ahead and introduced the team, so I didn't think they'd mind. We're gonna talk today. What is a citizen circle? Why should you start a citizen circle? How does a citizen circle work? And you're going to hear from Lisa Dolan and a couple of her partners on Summit County Citizen Circle. And then the last thing we're going to talk about a little bit about is how should we start a citizen circle. So for us to even get started, let's talk about who we're working with. And I always ask these two questions to anybody I'm talking to. What does reentry look like? Reentry looks different for anybody, for everybody, depending on whether you're a restored citizen, whether you're a community partner that deals with the populations being released. So reentry means something completely different for everybody. So we want you to think about, when our office gets out and talks to the judges and community partners, we ask them, what does reentry mean to you? And it is amazing that people come up with a definition, but they've really never really thought about it. I can tell you the population that we deal with. We pose the question to them, what's your biggest fear about returning? And the general consensus was the number one concern was about failing, while they're released. The fear of coming back. So when you talk about reentry, why is it important that we discuss and talk about reentry? Just due to all this, people's perspectives are based on things that the history that they have with reentry, restored citizens, whether it's something they've found on the news, whether it's a personal experience with it. But generally speaking, people don't really have a good idea about what and who the population we're talking about. A lot of times it's out of sight, out of mind. So today's presentation is going to talk about an option for you in your community, and that is the option of citizen circles, a different approach. So think about when you are dealing, when you're working day to day, think about the clients you're coming upon or coming and working with. Ask yourself, okay, never been there, done that. Understand that there are some fears and some needs that they need to address, and the concerns that they have. Sometimes, a lot of times, they struggle with communicating really what they're feeling. So when you talk about reentry, John, there we go. Thank you, John. You talk about, and this is a slide that we use constantly when we meet with people. It's called the chaos of reentry. I'm released. I'm a restored citizen. I've got demands being put on me, whether it's the parole officer, whether it's my own use of substance abuse, the needing to find a job, the demands that your family are putting on you, things that they think you should be doing, trying to find a place to live, dealing with landlords, dealing with people that will allow you to live there, submitting applications and coming up with money for the applications, friends demanding, hey, you're back, let's go do this, go do that, the same crowd that got him in trouble. And then having to recreate a relationship with your families, your children, the demands of that. So at any time, and this really does look like our lives in general, but with different cogs, different wheels. And it doesn't take much for your day to go from great to, to worse in a matter of seconds. So understand, when we talk about reentry, we're talking about people that are coming out into your communities that need someone to put this all in perspective. So if one of these something doesn't work out, then they just don't revert back to and continue and go back to the behavior that got them incarcerated. So think about it when you're dealing with this population. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of demands being put on them that aren't comfortable. It's not a comfortable place. They've gone from incarceration where everything is they're told when, where, how, and what that they need to do and how they should behave. Now they're out and they've got to turn their own life, the cogs, and create all this. So it's a struggle for them. John, do you have anything to add to that?
No, that's one thing. I guess go back real quick. The one thing too I want to point out, which is really brings us into the next slide, is what is a citizen circle and stuff like that. But as you read all this, pay attention to what's being said. You need to report. You haven't changed. I made a point of why didn't you go to it? The one thing that's not being asked is how come or what do you want? It's everybody asking them or telling that individual what their expectations are, but no one's asking them what goals they have or what their expectation is or anything like that. So that's what's going to be part of what exactly is a citizen circle. So citizen circles, they could bring the community and reentry individuals together to help the returning individual return home and not to feel alienated. Circles are effective because it's an individual return home that they know that they have a group of people who believe in them and will help them succeed. So you just mentioned, John, what's a group of people? Well, a lot of us, I think, have been to a reentry fair. And basically what happens at a reentry fair, you have a table and the incarcerated individuals all walk around the room and you have 5 of them at your table. They go from table to table collecting resources and then they go on their way. Well, just imagine now a citizen circle. Basically, you have a group of providers, a group of community partners, faith-based, substance abuse, mental health, peer support, child support, employment. sitting around a table and you have one individual come up and tell you what their goals are. And that group helps them accomplish those goals. They're kind of doing a little bit of like a case management in a sense, but they're not case managers. And that's how the circle thrives, and that's how the circle provides hope to those individuals. It brings the community together, brings the service providers together to assist and address the needs of barriers and choices of those returning citizens coming back to your community. Assist with development communities to help maybe get a strategic reentry plan. If you're looking at a coalition, or your coalition has these goals and stuff like that regarding housing and stuff. That's what a citizen circle can do for you, is they can help you, assist you in accomplishing those goals, or help you develop a strategic plan in order for you to build upon that, in order for you to keep on going. It's focused on key areas of need. So like I said, of returning individuals, and it's basically too, it's a one-stop shop. I cover Ashtabula County. It's one of the largest counties in the state of Ohio. There's really no public transportation really whatsoever in Ashtabula County. So just imagine if, okay, I wanted to figure out what one stop is. So now you got to travel to one stop. Well, now 20 minutes later, you want to go to a mental health agency up there, Signature Health. Well, now you got maybe a 20-minute drive to get there. But you live all the way down in South Ashtabula, so that's even more time in order for you to get there. You're thinking about maybe going to Turning Point or another agency. You're just driving around. How about maybe you go to one place and learn about those community providers, learn about the agencies that they have to offer. And what's great too about what a citizen circle is, it makes something happen now. There's no reason to refer an individual, say, oh, come see me. You have your calendar book. Let's make something happen now. And that's what a citizen circle is. It provides the hope, provides the direct services for those individuals, help them develop a game plan. And going back to that cog wheel, it provides them hope, and it provides them the direction that they want to go, instead of everyone else pulling and pushing them in certain directions. So why start a circle? So like I said before, provides accountability for the individual, provide a place of hope. It's a safe, welcoming environment. You're able to collect needs of the justice-involved individuals. And what happens is there's a referral form that if you're interested in starting one, that'll be provided to you. And it asks a whole bunch of questions. It asks about housing, asks about family needs, asks about substance abuse, mental health, any kind of legal issues, if they're looking for mentoring. So you can take this information and you can go ahead and once again go back to maybe developing your strategic plan, or actually maybe take it to an agency and says, hey, look, this is what the individuals with a criminal justice issue felony has. Like Ronnie mentioned, the bias on them, what they're having the issues are. This is what we need to work on in our counties, because now we have a document that states this is what they're looking for. So works on the reintegration, works on the community partnership, and like I said, the accountability for the individuals responsible in the community for a positive change. So
All right, sorry about that, everybody. Let's talk a little bit about the differences between, what a citizen circle is and what a coalition. The neat thing about is that they serve a population in a community. The citizen circles are there to connect justice-involved people to communities, programs, and resources. They support individuals with seamless transition back to communities. The community members take an active role in developing the partnership to assist the individual. That welcome, handshake, welcome home in a smaller setting with people that are truly concerned about the people coming back to their communities. And the citizen circle also allows places like an ownership with the justice involved individuals, responsibility to and commitment to positive change to some of the things that they've helped them with. So coalition, the difference between a coalition and citizen circle, the coalition focuses on an effort countywide. More of the more of the politics, more of the processes, more of the partners. They are an alliance of individuals for combined action to promote successful reintegration. They look at what's going on in the community. How do we address this population? They provide provide the crucial services of helping individuals find employment, access stable housing, support their families and children, and become active contributors to society. They're also there to connect justice-involved people to communities, programs, and services, resources. You know, as you talk coalition, you talk about a community coming together in a larger view from the top down, looking at their communities and saying, what are we doing? What do we need? What do we have? And the neat thing about, and Lisa Dolan will talk a little bit about, but the neat thing about citizen circles is that if they're doing the right thing, they are the ones that are keeping track of, like kind of like the triage to what's coming back to their communities, what's really going on. And one of the neat things about Lisa, she'll go back to the coalition and kind of report out on all that. And the coalition then looks at their plan and says, do we need to change something? Or do we need to pull somebody else into this? Do we need, you know, how can we adjust here? So you'll see some differences, but the similarities are they serve the community. They just do it in a different approach. Now, not every county is going to have a coalition. Not every county is going to have, for those counties that are smaller, they might just have a citizen circle, which would be enough for them. Because normally at a citizen circle, you got to have individuals or partners sitting at the table that kind of support and kind of serve the job and family services and organizations like that are able to make decisions, you know, right on the spot. So as you look at it, there's a few differences, but it's really about the one-on-one comfort zone, which is what citizen circles try and create versus a coalition. Not necessarily direct services, but indirectly developing partnerships.
So you're thinking about, well, how does a citizen circle work? Once again, they operate in a safe and welcoming environment. It's basically going to be you as you and the community partners and that one individual. We really don't want a family member joining that individual unless it's their support system. Or their case manager or something like that. That's really the only time we want someone just to participate with that individual. Reason being, we want that individual to be up front. Sometimes you don't know who's sitting next to them, how controlling they are with them. So it's kind of like I said, it's really one on the group basis of that. It's really no one else involved in the room whatsoever, especially for confidentiality purposes. Make sure that if you're thinking about doing the circle and this is really intriguing and stuff, make sure you have a diverse membership. Don't have everybody all there from substance abuse. Have people, like I said, there from faith-based, have people from mental health. That way, if there's an issue or problem with that individual that they mentioned that they want to accomplish, everyone has hopefully the knowledge somewhere in that an expert, the key expert person, I can't think of what it's called right now, subject matter expert in that area, in that county, sitting there in order to help that individual. It's really important too to make sure that it's a consistent location and a standard time of the meetings. Reason being, someone might come see you today for the circle. You might accomplish their goals. Great. However, though, maybe a year goes by and all of a sudden now that person's falling down on hard times again and they're looking for assistance. They know that the circle runs every fourth Tuesday at 2:00 in the afternoon at 86 North Street. So they know that they can go there and get the services and help the assistance that they need. Referrals are huge. And it's important not just to get the referrals from the adult parole authority or local probation department or anything like that. Make sure you get the referrals from the case managers, from all the community organizations there. Yes, everyone can make a referral, but once again, what the Citizen Circle does, though, it shows that there's a team of supportive community members, their neighbors, sitting there in front of them, they're willing to help them out instead of just a one-on-one approach. And we'll hear, we got some when Lisa talks and a community partner, and we have some testimonies from individuals, it's that team approach that really makes this successful. Make sure you keep track of the records and everything that's going on, and also communication. Communicate with the members of who's coming in. If there's someone that really needs assistance, because if you talk to that person before you schedule an appointment with them, communicate. We really need to make sure that we have someone from mental health today. We're really heavy on there. We really need to make sure that they come and stuff like that. So communication is key in order to help you build the circle and make it striving. Plus, like I said, those referrals too are extremely important. Now, go ahead, Brian.
As we sit here and talk about citizen circles, the number one piece that's effective is the welcoming environment. Look, think about it. The times that it's a terrible example, but you go to the doctor's office and you only hear some of what they're saying, but you bring your family member with you and they hear the rest. It's really a comfort zone. It's really about feeling comfortable enough to know, hey, these people do care. They do want me to succeed, and it gives them. We've got some citizen circles where people have returned. Just a couple of things. One, return because they appreciated the connection. Two, just give them an update that they're proud of what they've done. So when you talk citizen circles, it's really about the personal, hey, it's all right to take 2 steps back. We'll continue to take a step forward. This is okay. This is just the trip. It's not a stumble. So, you talk about citizen, and that's the big difference between coalitions and citizen circles. It's not really coalitions weren't meant to be one-on-one. They depend on the partners that are part of the coalition to serve as the hands-on like citizen circles do. Sorry about that, John.
No problem. So you're asking, but I never heard about citizen circles or anything like that, or why should we really invest in this? Building Bridges is here today in order to bring change, to help out those individuals returning home. As you can see from the map of Ohio, the north, above Franklin County, Delaware, is heavily influenced with the citizen circles. They work. It's a commitment that these counties have made, and we're trying to get the word about citizen circles and about the knowledge, so you're made aware of it. And that's what's really going to bring us into our next point of this presentation is Lisa Dolan. She used to work for child support. Now she's recently took on a new role with Summit County as the reentry specialist there with the public safety of Summit County. And her function still with Citizen Circle, but she's going to talk a little about Summit County Citizen Circle and how they operate and how they are successful. And like I said, we do have some other people that will jump in and talk and stuff like that too as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Lisa to go ahead and talk.
Thanks, John. As I looked at that map, it's to be absolutely honest, it's really kind of depressing to see how many counties that don't have a structure, don't have a citizen circle. Seeing that has made me, I'm going to kind of go off on a different route for just a moment with it. So yes, the northern part of the state, obviously we're doing quite well. What citizen circles can do and the effect that they can have on individuals, the justice involved individuals, your community in general, the bringing together of your resource providers. I mean, I could go on forever about how important. And another thing, when John just talked about my recent transition, so I was with child support in Summit County for 23 years. In 2018 is when I kind of first got involved in Citizen Circle. And that just continued to grow and to grow and to grow to where it was really reentry is a full-time position. So I was paid by child support to do one job, but basically doing two full-time jobs. Our county took notice of that, asked me some questions. I did say that reentry needs to be a paid position, and I believe it should be under the county. And that conversation was in June. By September the 11th, I started my new role. I've recently talked to couple people in other counties where they're pushing for that same thing, to have their counties take part and maybe create some positions for reentry. And one of the best ways is I was able to use all of my Citizen Circle knowledge, my statistics, everything to help make this happen. So I definitely want people to really give some thought as to what a circle can do above and beyond our main focus, which is helping those justice involved individuals. Who knows where it will lead and how your whole county can benefit from it. So we started, our first meeting in Citizen Circle in Summit County. We became operational in 2018. We had monthly meetings through March of 2020. Then the pandemic hit. So we basically took a year off. We resumed our monthly meetings in March of 2021, but we had a few noticeable changes, mainly the use of what we call a hybrid model. That is where we use both Zoom and in person. So that model has provided much more flexibility to our members. When I say member, those are our AKA would be our resource providers. It gives them the ability to come and go as needed because our meetings can be pretty lengthy. Prior to the pandemic, all meetings were in person for both participants and members, which was fine. But for us now, the hybrid model is working better for us. I mentioned 57% of individuals attending have child support issues. Why am I mentioning that? Part of it is that had been my role for many, many years, and I saw the benefit for child support clients if they were attending Citizen Circle. It's kind of when you're assisting individuals through the circle that have child support obligations, it's a win-win for participants and their children. Child support payments, we help people get jobs, just become more stable. It enhances that participant's life. But in addition, when I say it's a win-win, child support payments helped reduce family poverty. Visitation has increased. There's better communication and co-parenting between mothers and fathers. If you are thinking about starting a circle, I would definitely suggest that you reach out to your local child support agency and try to get them on board. Not only are you helping families, it's also a good source for recruitment of your participants as well. You don't want to rely on one agency or one source, for instance, the adult parole or your probation. You don't want to leave your recruitment for those participants that you want to help. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You want to get them from as many sources that you can. And child support is a great one because a program that I did for child support, 70% of the clients in that program were justice involved individuals. Community resources, things that we have been able to do, and this was just the first half of 2023. There's, some statistics there. We've our one-day bus passes, 31-day bus passes, normally a 31-day bus pass. I pretty much use those for individuals who are working or have recently obtained employment. They don't have transportation. That is their means to make sure that they show up at work every day. So that's where I'll generally use the 31-day passes. We do have gas cards in $25 and $50 increments. First half of this year, we've given away $1,325 worth. Again, the $50 gas cards are generally maybe somebody just obtained employment. It's going to be a week or two before they get their first pay. So I'll give those. The $25 ones we will give to help people that have come to Citizen Circle. Maybe they had a family member or friend bring them. We will give them a $25 gift card to help defray that cost. We've had a couple of people that we were able to give bikes to because it was going to work as their mode of transportation for work. Wallets, hygiene bags, very important. It's really funny how many men don't seem to have a wallet. So we have kind of a stockpile of those. Last year, Summit County, our coalition, we received a grant from ODRC, and that was for coalition expansion. Summit County actually now partners with Medina and Portage County. That grant money enabled us to provide over $18,000 for basic needs to the justice involved individuals, 21,000 for financial assistance, helping with BMV fines, reinstatement fees, court fees, housing, car repairs, birth certificates. So that was a wonderful thing that happened last year. From 2018 up until that point, we operated very successfully without any type of funding. That funding sure helped and enabled us to do a lot more. Of the grant money, about 99% was spent on direct support services. We did use a little bit of the money for like office supplies, things like that to keep us going because again, when we started and we had no funding, I was always sending out emails like, hey, does anybody have any colored ink for the printer? You know, just things because I was absorbing some of the costs myself. And I knew that wasn't something I could continue to do. But because we had so many wonderful members of our circle, the House of the Lord, they purchased, they got a very nice Eco Tank printer for me, which was wonderful. So again, we all, you know, people help in many, many ways, but that money actually was wonderful for us, enabled us to do a lot more directly for the justice involved individuals.
Hey, Lisa,
Lisa.
we have a question from the chat.
Yes, go ahead.
That Bob wants to know, how does a citizens circle interact with the county reentry office? Do you interact and share resources?
So in Summit County, prior to my new role, we didn't have any county-led or any county-led reentry. Our circle and our coalition has been strong. So the members we do share. Bottom line is this: we are here to help those in need, those justice involved individuals, because everybody wins, including your community. So yes, nothing's a competition for us. And now that now that I'm actually a paid employee of the county, we're just going to be able to do more, be stronger, and continue to have more members. You know, I don't ever go out and actively search or have to recruit members. They have heard about the Citizen Circle. They'll reach out if they are interested in it. I'll have them attend one. Just come and observe. You can come in person or you can observe it via Zoom since we have this hybrid model. Let them see for themselves exactly what it is that we do. and then let them decide, do you want to make the commitment to being a circle member? Because as a member, and I say it's a commitment, we expect you to attend these meetings. You know, there will be occasions where someone can't, and we understand that. But if you're making a commitment, you are committing to attending this every month and helping out in whatever way. It may be more than just what type of resource you are providing to our community or to these participants. It may be that we need you at the meeting to be the greeter or take one of the roles of our members at the meetings. So did that, hopefully I answered that for you.
I think that sounds pretty good. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Um, so our meetings at Summit County, we schedule participants instead of having walk-ins, though we won't turn anyone away if somebody does show up as a walk-in. When we first started out, we did not have appointments. It was just walk in, first come, first serve. Looking back now, it many months were very chaotic because sometimes we'd have, 20 individuals show up. A couple of times we had maybe one or two, but that wasn't the norm. Well, when you have so many individuals, you really cannot provide the best services to them. They're just not, you just can't do it. We fumbled our way through it, but looking back, um, I do regret that those individuals did not really get the services the way we do things now. However, I will say that if you are going to start a circle, you may have to start out with kind of that open walk-in. It can be different depending on if you're a large county or a smaller county. I know now what works best for Summit is that we do have appointments scheduled. It gives me an opportunity to speak with the participant ahead of time, know their needs. As Brian talked about something, maybe we know that mental health is going to be a need, making sure that we have a mental health provider there. Or like the times we gave some bikes out, I knew ahead of time that these gentlemen were looking for their job was close to where they were living. They just needed a bike, and so we had them and gave them to them that day. So again, for us, having the appointments is what is working better. When we started using the hybrid in March of 21, once we restarted after COVID, worked out better for us. It has increased our member attendance. Another thing I would suggest is the cross training of your members. We have assigned duties at the circle. Somebody is a greeter. Somebody's doing the intake. Somebody's doing all the paperwork for the bus passes or the gas cards. Another individual is our recorder who's taking the notes so that the individual, when our participants are there, so we schedule 20-minute appointments. It's kind of like a doctor's appointment. So we're giving a lot of information at one time. We're letting that participant know, hey, you don't have to take notes. We're keeping those for you. We are just, I think, we know we can't do it all in 20 minutes, but what that 20 minutes is so important is that we are letting individuals know that there really are wonderful people out here, that our main goal is to help them be successful. We're not judging them. We're here for them. They know how to get in contact. So it's just really, I think that 20-minute appointment, that very first one, is just kind of to introduce them to something they may not know exists, and the people and the help. Because we do follow up. Our note taker, he our meetings are on a Thursday, so on Friday or Monday, he follows up and he makes that connection with that participant, and then we kind of start the game plan. So that has worked very well for us. One of the most important things for our circle, and that I would highly suggest, as you bring on members, don't be afraid to have multiple members that provide the same type of services. But you also need to let those members know that it is not a competition. It's not a place to compete for recruitment. We want to provide options to those we're serving. We understand that those we serve have barriers. So maybe, okay, they need some job readiness. So Brian or John offers that. I offer it. But as an individual, I have to rely on public transportation, and John is the closest person. So that's why I'm going to choose John for my needs. It could be gender preference. So our people have gone through types of PTSD, trauma, and maybe they only want a male or a female provider, whatever it is. But by offering options and choices, that participant feels they have a voice. That the one slide John was showing, everybody's telling somebody, this individual, what to do. We are not telling this person what to do. We are providing options, letting them have the control, letting them make the decisions that are best. They may reach out and want help on the decision making, which is fine. But our biggest thing is we do not want them to feel like we're telling them what to do. It's their life, their choices. Basically, all of this, that the citizen circle, the effect it has just been wonderful. We have that one-stop shop with ready access to resources. As John said, they may be able to schedule an appointment with XYZ provider that day, so they already have something going and lined up and can start on their journey. Non-judgmental environment is also very important. Also, we've created leadership, reentry leadership, part of what now my role at the county. We have a lot of collaboration between our resource providers. And as I mentioned before, agencies seek out our circle to become members. I really don't have to recruit. You will at the beginning as you're starting a circle, but if you get it going and you're operating right, everybody wants to be a part of it.
Hey, Lisa, real quick, can you give us an idea of who your members are? Kind of a breakdown a little bit of who they represent.
Sure. So we have, well, of course, we have child support. We have fatherhood groups. We have mental health. We have, let me think about all of this. We have mental health. We have addiction services. We had a politician, although he took a different position. We've got Project Learn, which is education. We've got some faith-based. Obviously, ODRC, we work closely with the parole. Akron Urban League, different places. We have employers, job readiness. So yeah, I mean, we have a plethora of different types of agencies to try to handle what are the known needs of the justice involved individuals.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. And I think, well, John, I think now what we want to hear from, so Charles Harrison, he's with our Man-to-Man Fatherhood Initiative here in Summit County. And so we wanted a little bit of information to be provided to you from a member's perspective. So Charles, please go ahead.
Good morning or good afternoon. This is Charles Harrison, and again, I'm with the Man-to-Man Fatherhood Initiative program. And one of our primary goals is to help bridge the gap between the father and their child's mother to resolve issues and establish priorities, and just to help them regain some trust and work together for the better of the child. Uh, and we stress this in our program. And I feel like our program is an extension of the Citizen Circle and the Reentry program because, first of all, we don't judge, and we have what we call establishing the trust. We have a Vegas mentality. So what we talk about there stays there. And once the fathers feel that trust, they can open up. And we've had quite a few fathers that come. They'll leave the Citizen Circle and come right to our program because it's on the same day. It's on Thursday evenings. And when they first get there, they'll say, I don't see how this is going to help me. But then after one or two sessions, they thank us for allowing them to come in and express themselves, but also to help and sit with other men and come together as men to help part of their recovery and part of their getting back to society, and get the feeling that they're not the only ones going through something like this. And man, we talk about effective communication, handling expression emotions, which men don't like to talk about a lot. But again, with that Vegas attitude, a lot of the men come together and start sharing with each other and becoming positives to each other, instead of getting that person saying, well, man, I can help you make a quick dollar this way or that. No, they help each other into establishing and staying on the path and help them reconnect with their kids. We talk about forgiveness. And the first person we talk about forgiving is themselves. And this is just stuff that is ongoing when we talk to the men. And it has just been great to be a part of the Citizen Circle and get the men, and then they get to meet us, and then they can come right into the program. And we used to take 2 weeks off, but since being a part of the Citizen Circle, we just roll 6 weeks straight through the course. And to see some of their emotions when they get that certificate of something positive, it really helps. And some of them even continue past the 6 weeks.
Hey, Charles, real quick, just one quick question. I know you and Buzz have a competition to say a famous line after people participate in the Citizen Circle. What's the question you ask them, and what's the typical answer that you hear?
We look at them and say, did you expect all of this? And the first thing they break a smile or they wipe a tear and say they had no idea so many things or so many people were willing to help. And that is a true feeling, especially when you're sitting right there with them and you ask them, did they expect this?
And to watch so many grown people, men or women, that are reduced to tears because they had no idea the help was there, and we're not asking for anything in return other than their success. You know, there are no strings attached. If they attend and they falter and months later they want to come back, talked about the importance of, you know, they know where we're at, they know the location, the time, the date, and that does happen. So yes, just to see people that really did not know that people are out there just to help them. is it's pretty cool. It really is. Next, this is an email from Lori. She is the director at Akron CNC, which is a vocational training program. She kind of couldn't be with us, so I just kind of want to read. She sent me, we provide skilled trade training to students to prepare them for the employment in CNC machining. We have had a number of Citizen Circle clients train, graduate, and be placed in good jobs that provide excellent pay, insurance, and retirement plans. Graduates can work in the industry for the rest of their life. We look forward to helping more Citizen Circle participants who wish to enter this field and gain the benefits. And I think one of the most important things in that email is talking about retirement plans. As we know, a lot of our individuals and those that we serve have either worked under the table or spent countless hours, years in and out of incarceration, and have not had a legitimate job where they've paid into Social Security. One day they're going to be old. I'm nearing retirement soon, and if you're not paying in, how are you going to live when you're older? So one of the things that Summit County, we help people get jobs because many times a job is one of their basic needs now. But we also encourage and work to help people gain careers. So we're very much focusing on careers, but starting with that basic job to get them, started on the right path. The effect of the circle on our participants. So we have surveys that we give out to every participant. And below, I just want to read some of the comments that have come from our surveys. I didn't feel embarrassed. I'm blessed the community has people like you. Allowed me to open up and just be honest. Everyone was nice and talking the truth. Straight to the point, got the help I needed. You covered all areas for me, and I thank you. Thank you guys for doing something you didn't have to do. Part of that is everybody involved in our Citizen Circle, we don't get paid to be at the circle. We don't get paid to do anything for the circle. It's just agencies that allow their workers to attend it, but nobody, we don't get paid to do it. That bottom one, thank you guys for doing something that you didn't have to do. That's right, we don't have to, but we all are like-minded, and it's all what we all want to be doing. So yeah, our participants are very happy with us. It's very rare to get a survey that is negative. I think I've had one, and I was right on it, contacting that person to find out what can we do better, because we operate based on the needs and the voice of the justice involved individuals. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Lisa and Charles. So the next step you might be asking is, this sounds great, and how do we get started? There's a guide that we have, and if you're interested in it, I'll put my email address in the thing, and I'll be happy to send it to you. But it kind of walks through a little bit about what we're talking about, and I also will attach the PowerPoint. So if you just want to put your email address in the thing or send me an email, that'll be perfectly fine, and we can go ahead and get that to you. And Brian, when I'm doing that, I'll let you jump in real quick so I can finish typing my email in here.
As you sit back and listen to what Lisa talked about, there's a couple things that came to mind for me real quick. It's not a competition. The circle and its members don't compete for the participant. They work as a team and just wanted to ensure that the participant is taken care of, is led the right direction. One of the things that Citizen Circles struggle with is referrals. How do we get people to the Citizen Circle? When Citizen Circle started, it was a DRC adult parole authority system approach. But citizen circles like Lisa's don't rely on that. They've got such a partnership with all the different members of their committee that the referrals are coming in countywide. So that's one of the struggles most citizen circles have, is the referrals. The last thing, you're sitting there thinking about they only meet once a month, but the neat thing about all the citizen circles is they don't wait for the service to be connected to the participant until their monthly meeting. A lot of times they'll go ahead and set up direct services with the individual and then ask them to come to the scheduled monthly meeting. So services aren't waiting for to be connected to. And that's the neat thing about, and that's kind of why Lisa talked about having the county a paid person to run the citizen circle. Most citizen circles are members of different agencies. The chairs are members of different agencies. So, but a lot of great things. The approach citizen circles, the numbers, it's the atmosphere that the circles create. Now, John has also put up there the link to our manual. You'll find one that talks about it gives you an opportunity to talk about citizen circles. What does a citizen circle mean to a community? And then the other one's actual and operational training part of it. So if you are interested, John provided his email address, and that's step number one. We'll talk you through how to start meeting with potential members. And then we'll eventually, once you get your membership together, we'll come and do a training for the citizen circle. Because there is a training, there is a process that it's important to keep in mind that there's some elements of the citizen circle that we protect, meaning the whole safe environment. Everything's confidential. You don't walk out and start talking to everybody in the community about what was discussed. It's that protection of the individuals that they're working with.
Great. I want to thank everybody for their presentation today. It's very informative. It got me wondering, like, what do we do with the circle? I have to take a look at that, see what's going on. Does anybody else have any questions that we can have the guys answer? We've got about 2 minutes left. If you have a question, pop it into chat real quick, and we'll see if we can't get an answer for you. I guess not. Okay, that's all right.
Wait a minute. I see Miss Garrett has a question. Well, two things. And I see a note in there. It says ready to start circles in Franklin and Montgomery counties. Gosh, you guys go. Definitely. If there's anything that I can do, please feel free to reach out. I will put, John, do you have the slide that has my email? And Miss Garrett, if you can take down my email as well. I'm waiting for my new phone number. Like I said, with the transition, I don't have all of my contact information, but or here, I can put it in the chat. I will put my, I'll put my email down. Oh, there we go. ldolan@summitoh.net. That is the best way to get a hold of me until I do have a contact number.
And this will be available. It's being recorded. So once the recording is done, everybody will get a link to the recording, and it is 11:45. So we need to say thank you again, presenters. We appreciate all your help. and hope everybody enjoys the rest of the day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you.